Great morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Eugenio Jaramillo. I know it's a tongue twister for many of you, so just call me Gino, please. I'm an adjunct professor at FIU. I'm now retired, and this is what I do, public speaking. Little bit off topic from your code camp, other sessions where they're high tech, right? Everything is about coding and those things. This one is about soft skills. Anybody know what a soft skill is? Any guesses?
Body language?
Could be.
Interpersonal skills, negotiation.
Interpersonal skills, people skills, communication. I'm going to give you my top 4, which are not taught in school, and then I'll give you a 5th one to help you out, okay? Soft skills are important because it's the best investment you can make in improving yourself. And it's what the Fortune 500 companies are looking for. People that can manage people. People that can communicate. People that can work with others. And it's the best investment you can make because they never go out of style. Number 1, public speaking. Who's afraid of public speaking? Anybody? Don't worry, I'm not going to call on you. I have a human mouse today. Hey, you're with 3/4 of the population. 74% of people are afraid to get up in front of a crowd and speak. It's a very anxiety-producing task. So you're not alone. But there's a cure. And the cure is practice. Go to my next slide, please. So Jerry Seinfeld cuts a joke about it, and he says that a study was done that determined that the fear of public speaking is the #1 fear in the world for everybody. But number 2 was death. How can that be? I thought it was like spiders or something like that, or heights. So be careful if you get invited to a funeral, because you don't know whether to give the eulogy or be in the casket. Thanks. Now here's what Warren Buffett says about practicing public speaking. Warren Buffett says that mastering the art of public speaking is the single greatest skill to boost your career. He goes on to say that you could earn between 40 and 50% more as a good presenter and public speaker in your business and whatever you're doing. Now here's the best place to practice, Toastmasters. I don't know if there's one here at this university, but there are many of them. How many of you ever heard of Toastmasters? It's getting a little more popular these days. It is the largest, oldest organization that you've probably never heard of. It has, well, it was founded 95 years ago, coming this October. It has over 360,000 members in 141 countries, organized by 16,000 clubs. 2,000 of them are here in the United States. So you can find one near you. You go to www.toastmasters.org and push on the little button that says Find a Club. Type in the zip code of where you live, work, play, or pray. And make sure it's convenient and you find it. Because if it's not convenient to your time and location, you will not go. And then the third tip I always give is try a few clubs. They're free to try as a guest. And you can go to as many as you want, as many times as you want, till you figure out if you want to sign up or not, or which club or not. But do check out a few clubs so you can feel the energy, feel the karma, see if you like the people in the room. Because it's very important. Otherwise you won't go. And the key is going and getting practice. So practice is how you get to master public speaking and how you remove the fear. You know what produces the fear? Getting up in front of a bunch of pair eyes and they're all staring at you. And you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to make a mistake. So that pressure of those eyes is what you need to practice, and that's the best place to do it, is at Toastmasters. Look at the different levels. You start off as a novice, you practice some more, and you get the Steve Jobs caliber. He's a master presenter and public speaker. Now you're looking at me and you're saying, that guy, he's a natural. He's got a gift. He can do it. And I say to you, contrary, this is practice. This is 5 years of going every week to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 Toastmasters meetings. That's over 200 hours of public speaking training. Toastmasters also helps you with your communication skills because you need to prepare, rehearse, and deliver 5 to 7 minute speeches. So you learn to communicate to your audience. They also teach you leadership by being involved in the board. Most nonprofits have a board, president, vice president, and you need to lead people. And leading people in a nonprofit is quite difficult. You know why? You can't fire them. They're volunteers. Here's what Andy Stanley says about it. Leaders who don't listen will eventually be surrounded by people who have nothing to say. So that's another vital skill you learn, listening, because we have functionaries. So if you have somebody silently listening to your grammar, another person checking your filler words, you know, I don't know, eliminate those from your vocabulary and from your presentations. Next. Another thing you learn is impromptu speaking. What the heck is that? That means you speak on the spot. Where would you use impromptu speaking? In an interview. Do you know what an interviewer is going to ask you? No. So you got to be quick. You got to be ready to give a response to a question you have no idea. And that's what Toastmasters does. We have a section called Table Topics, where a person will come up, there'll be a theme of the day, and they'll ask you a question random, off the wall. They might look at everybody in the room, they'll ask the question and say, what is your name, sir? Ariel. Ariel. That was easy. I threw him a softball. But you might get asked a question, well, you have to speak from 1 to 2 minutes. They seem interminably long. When you go do your 5 to 7 minute presentation, the time goes like this, and you're done. But when you're trying to speak for 1 minute, it seems like forever. So you have to practice impromptu speaking. Next. You also get feedback. This is my favorite part of Toastmasters. You deliver a speech, we have some table topics, and then the third part is evaluators. These are people that are assigned specifically to you for your speech, and they not only give you a verbal, but a written evaluation. And you get feedback. We humans need feedback. Otherwise, how do we improve? You can look at yourself in the mirror, but you can't see all of you. Other people need to see you and tell you about you and how you can improve. And that's what the evaluators do. You can practice in front of a mirror. You can practice in front of a camera. You can practice with your spouse or your friend. But until you do it for real with all those pairs of eyes and get feedback, it's not going to be worthwhile. Next. Stories. Oh my gosh, I love this part about Toastmasters. You get rich content because you meet people from all walks of life, every size, shape, and color. Every industry is represented. and you can network with them. And they give you tremendous stories. It could be about minimalism, it could be about a diet, it could be about how somebody overcame fear, or someone that overcame the death of a little one. You get some great content. Thanks. Leadership skills, I touched on it briefly. Being a leader in the meeting and on the board, you get to practice a little bit of leadership. Now, networking is another thing you get because so many people are there. You network with these people. Next. And there's a mentoring program. You're assigned a mentor to help you with your first 5 speeches. And then in turn, later, you become a mentor. Why is mentoring important? Because he who teaches learns twice. You will relearn what you learned. Next. Now, leadership is required. This is an author back, you guys probably don't know him here. Too young to remember, but go ahead. This is Peter Drucker, he's a famous author, business author. He said only 3 things happen naturally in organizations: friction, confusion, and underperformance. Everything else requires leadership. There is a huge lack of leadership in this country. You see it in our politicians. We need great leaders to get us out of the messes we put ourselves in. So leadership is required. Next. But leadership is really about serving others. It's not about you. The more you can serve others, the better leader you become. Next. It's also about doing for others. And I love this quote right here from Martin Luther King. He said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And in doing for others is what draws out your greatness. Next. It's also about influencing others in a good way. John Maxwell, another famous author, says that leadership is not about titles, positions, or org charts. It's about one life influencing another in a good way. Next. Now here's the difference between management and leadership. This is another quote for Steve Jobs. Go. And Steve said that management is about persuading people who do things they do not want to do, while leadership is about inspiring people to do things they never thought they could. Isn't he the living, or now deceased example of that? The insane things. He used to love that word, insane. And he would inspire people to create incredible products, like your iPhone, if you are into iPhone, or your Samsung. This is an incredible piece of technology, and he formed the first trillion-dollar company in the world. You know what number 2 was?
Exxon. Pretty sure it was Exxon or something like that.
Amazon.
Amazon?
Yeah, their capitalization on the stock market, if you were to sell every single stock at the price that day, Apple and Amazon are the first 2 trillion-dollar companies on the planet. Pretty cool, huh? I love Steve Jobs. This next one is from John Maxwell. I'm going to spend a little time on here. Go. Here's what's going to happen to you. You guys are all computer engineers, electrical engineers, software engineers, right? You're going to work in your industry for a little while, 3, 4, 5 years, and you'll get noticed because you're a great coder. And your manager will come to you one day and say, you know what, Ariel, we want you to be a manager. And we want you to lead these 4 people right here. You're a manager. And that is a position. So people will follow you because they have to. Next comes permission. And that is people will follow you because they want to. And today, people don't follow companies. You're looking at a job between Google or Microsoft or Apple, all great companies. But you might choose the one that has the better person there that's going to lead you. It's going to be your boss. What if you get a great job with Google and your boss is a total arse? Not going to work. So people follow people. The next one is production. People follow you because of what you have done for the organization. You've been a producer, you've made profits, you've done good things for the company, the organization. The next one is people development. People follow you because of what you have done for them. And that's what I used to do. I would develop my people. I would never fear somebody taking my job. I want them to. That lets me step up to the next rung on the ladder. Don't fear training your subordinates. And level 5 is the level that not many people get to, level 5. And it's the huge void that we have in this country of leadership. The pinnacle is people follow you because of who you are and what you have become in that process. That's the highest level of leadership. The next one is the difference between a boss and a leader. I love this slide. A boss creates fear. A leader creates confidence. A boss fixes blame, and a leader corrects mistakes. I had a project manager that he would tell his people, if anything goes wrong, it's your fault. If anything goes okay, I take the credit. That's not a leader. A boss knows everything. A leader asks questions. I had the type of bosses that they already had their opinion. They already knew what they were going to decide. And then they call a meeting, and they ask for people's opinions, and then they do what they want. No. You have to ask questions and get all the information and then form an informed position. Don't already have your conclusion before you ask your people. You guys are mostly millennials, and I love you guys. I have nothing against you. Some of you may not be millennials. I'm a baby boomer. So millennials are the most culturally diverse generation that we've ever had. And you guys are going to represent 75% of the world by 2020. So the baby boomers, Generation X, is being replaced by the millennials. Now that's why I do this. I come to coach you, guide you, teach you, mentor you, because you guys are the next generation of leaders. And in that cultural diversity is where we get incredible ideas. People from different countries, from different cultures, from different genders. That forms the best idea. I have a philosophy that the best idea wins. I didn't push my idea down onto my people. And whoever came up with the best idea to solve a problem, we ran with it. And the team would run with it. Next, soft skills. So you saw one, right? Leadership, public speaking, leadership. Those are the two top soft skills. The next one is mentorship. Why have a mentor? Because one good mentor could be more informative than a college education and more valuable than a decade's worth of income. It's a shortcut. How many of you work right now in industry? You all have a job? Okay. Remember that your company owns your job and you own your career. So you have to take care of your career. So I'm here to ask you to please take care of your career. Because if not you, then who? If not now, then when? How many of the companies that you work at have a mentor-protege program? Do you know? Anybody? Nobody? Your company has it? Okay, are you in it?
I have been, yes.
You have it as a mentor or as a protege?
Both.
Both? Nice. Very small minority in the room. But do know that 71% of the Fortune 50 companies of these United States have a mentor-protege program. I encourage you to go ask at your company, do you have one? If so, I want to be in it. Mentors can shortcut your career. Next. What's the origin of mentor? Mentor was a friend and trusted counselor of Odysseus from the Iliad and the Odyssey, the Greek novel. And when Odysseus left for the Trojan War, he placed mentor in charge of his son, Telemachus. So here goes to the definition. Anybody want to guess what it is? It's an experienced and trusted advisor, a guru, a guide, a counselor, a consultant. Two kinds of people. There's the travel agent and the tour guide. What does the travel agent do? Hey, listen, I want to go to Russia. Okay, here's your plane ticket. Give me the money. The tour guide says, you want to go to Russia? I'll go with you. We're going to stay in St. Petersburg a couple days. And then we're going to go to Moscow. And we're going to get there by train. And we're going to eat at this restaurant, we're going to stay at this hotel, and we're going to see this attraction. And he takes you by the hand. You get the difference? That's what a mentor does. He shows you the way, doesn't tell you the way. Next. Now there's three kinds of roles. One is a coach. And a coach talks to you. So think of a famous football coach or baseball coach. Their job is to coach you for that next game, that one specific task. So you often hear coaches giving these inspiring speeches and pumping up their team because they talk to you. A mentor speaks with you and asks questions and is a longer term goal. It's not as short term as coaching. And the last one you may have not heard of is a sponsor. That's someone a couple levels above you or your boss that has noticed you and said, that person has talent. That person could be in our leadership program. That person could be our next vice president. And they speak about you to others when you're not in the room. That's a sponsor. So I encourage you to find a sponsor as well. Usually sponsors find you when they spot your talent. So if you get up there and you're speaking in public because you've been chosen to do a presentation, because you're a good presenter, you're a good communicator, you're a good speaker, you get noticed. And people get noticed. People that get noticed get promoted. Next. We all have a duty to mentor. Because John Maxwell says, in order to have true success, every generation must continue to develop the next one. This has been going on for ages and ages and ages. So that's why I do this. I'm here to be your mentor. Yes, sir.
How would you suggest finding a mentor?
That's a fantastic question.
And I have another question too. Would
Follow
you recommend paying for mentors? I know John Maxwell has a paying service where it's not like a personal mentor, but you still get access to some of his wisdom.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Two good questions. Finding a mentor, there's two ways. There's formal and there's informal. Formal is when you are in your company's mentor-protege program and they assign you someone, which is not bad. You can go for that. But I love the informal. It's something where you gravitate to someone because You like the position they have. You like how they dress. You like how they talk. You like the car they drive. You like their lifestyle. You like who they are. And you gravitate to them. But don't ask. Don't go over there and say, hey, will you be my mentor, please? That's not the right approach. The approach is softer. Get to know them. Hey, can I take you out for a cup of coffee? Have a cup of coffee with that person and see what areas of mutual interest there are. And form a relationship. Develop a relationship. Now, as far as John Maxwell, that's more for becoming a leader and leadership training. So if you want to pursue that, that's fine. I'm not so sure that that's really a mentor program.
Right, I mean, that's what it's titled. I know there are other people who offer services.
Yes.
If you pay a certain amount, you have certain
Yes.
access to, not necessarily them personally, but their material, things that aren't offered to everyone in the public. So
There's plenty of that today in our World Wide Web, and a lot of it's free. You can go to YouTube, you can go to podcasts, and that advice is there for free. If you want to pay for it, and you can afford it, and it's something you want to do, not a problem, but I prefer the informal mentorship. That one seems to be the longest lasting and the most effective. Next. And here was your question, how to find a mentor. Someone that's in the position you desire, so it might be a couple levels above. Research their career history. What have they done? What did they graduate in? What are the degrees? How did they get to the position? Next. It's someone you respect and admire. Next. Someone that acts like you desire. Next. Look for patterns of interest. How many of you have hobbies? Anybody? Hobbies? Want to blurt some out?
I watch anime.
Anime? Knitting?
Just reading novels.
Reading novels. Anybody else over here?
Video games?
Video games? So there's many different interests. Do any of you belong to an association? Yes? Okay. That's a good place to find people of mutual backgrounds or mutual interests. Toastmasters is the other one. Next. And this is the thing I admonish you for. Nothing turns off a person more than a blatant request for mentorship. So don't ask for it. Develop it. Develop a relationship with that person. So I talked a little bit about this, mentor-protege programs. I asked you about it. Not many companies have it. 71% of Fortune 100 have it. Hey, there's an app for that. How about that? There's software in the computer that you can set up to mentor you, and there's also applications on your phone. Nice. And I talked about formal versus informal. Now, networking is the fourth soft skill. If you are not networking, then you're not working. And I know that networking might be like kryptonite to you guys, but it's a vital skill. Now here's a little cheat sheet. Be yourself. Don't be inauthentic. Don't be more than what you are already. You don't have to aggrandize yourself. Be a giver. Ask questions. Listen actively and follow up. So there's two ways to go to a networking event to meet people. There's the kind that I call the sniper. They bring out their rifle and they go pow, 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 pow. Give me your card, give me your card, give me your card, give me your card. And they collect like 50 cards and they have them all in their pocket or in their purse. And then you go home and they don't know what to do with them. The other kind is a farmer. It's more like farming. So you come over here and you meet Stephen and you ask Stephen some questions and you start a dialogue and spend some time with him and see what commonality there is. You might ask him, hey Stephen, how may I know your typical client? How can I help you? Who can I connect you to?
all my money. You know I